an award-winning local legend in his own right.
Black math is what they call it.
A right triangle is a triangle where a vertical line segment meets a horizontal line segment at one point. The point where the two lines meet creates a corner. The two lines are said to be perpendicular to each other. This perpendicular meeting point is called a right angle. The measure of a right angle is 90 degrees. In other words, a right angle is a 90-degree angle. A right angle is symbolized with a square. A diagonal line is drawn from another point on the horizontal line to another point on the vertical line. This is a right triangle. The diagonal line drawn connecting the other two ends of the vertical line and the horizontal line is called the hypotenuse. Our point of reference is the intersection of the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. That is, the point where the hypotenuse meets the horizontal line. This meeting point also makes an angle, as does the point where the vertical line meets the hypotenuse. Now the point where the vertical line meets the hypotenuse is on the opposite end of the horizontal line from where the horizontal line meets the hypotenuse. The sum of all three angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. In a right triangle, we already know what one of the degree measures is, 90 degrees. The two remaining degrees are unknown. Now, in mathematics, we label unknown quantities with a letter. 90 degrees plus x plus y equals 180 degrees. I will label the point of reference angle x and then label the other angle y. In general, angles are symbolized with an arc. The horizontal line that meets the diagonal line and makes the angle x is called the adjacent side. The vertical line that meets the diagonal line and makes the angle y is called the opposite side. So now we have the three sides: adjacent side, opposite side, and hypotenuse. And we have the three angles: 90 degrees, x, and y. The length of the hypotenuse depends on its distance away from the adjacent side. The distance of the hypotenuse from the adjacent side is the measure of the angle between where the hypotenuse and the adjacent side intersect. The ratio of the distance from the adjacent side to the hypotenuse is adjacent side over hypotenuse. This is called the cosine of x, written as cos x. The ratio of the distance from the opposite side to the hypotenuse is opposite side over hypotenuse. This is called the sine of x, written as sin x. The value of the cosine depends on the measure of the angle between sides, i.e., the adjacent side to the hypotenuse and the opposite side to the hypotenuse. The length of the hypotenuse is related to the lengths of the adjacent and opposite sides. Label the adjacent side A, label the opposite side B, label the hypotenuse C. The three sides of a right triangle are related by the equation c squared equals a squared plus b squared, where c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. This equation is called the Pythagorean Theorem. Through the Pythagorean Theorem, basic values of the sine and cosine of certain angles can be calculated. Draw a triangle with all sides being the same length. This type of triangle is called an equilateral triangle. Recall that the measure of the angle between the sides depends on the length of the sides. Since the sides are all equal length, then that means that the measure of the angles must also be of equal measure. The sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle must equal 180 degrees. The only possible degree value in an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees, since 60 plus 60 plus 60 equals 180. From this equilateral triangle, we can calculate the cosine and sine of some angles. Example, an equilateral triangle with lengths equal to 2.